Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be a review for another Netflix film known as Alex Strangelove. And what Alex Strangelove is essentially about is we center on the aforementioned Alex Truelove. His name is not actually Strangelove, his name is Alex Truelove, and basically he is in his senior year of high school, and he is in fact a virgin. He doesn't really understand it. He has this girlfriend that he, is very devoted to, but she is very adamant on them having sex, and he is really into it as well. However, after they go to this party, he meets this guy, Elliot, and Alex starts to realize that he might have feelings for Elliot that might be a little bit beyond friends, and he starts to kind of question his own sexuality, and if that has anything to do with the fact that he is a virgin, if he even wants to have sex with his girlfriend, and that's really all I'm going to say. So Alex Strangelove in general, similar to most Netflix movies, I was very cautious about. Netflix, they've been so on and off lately. Lately they've been better than lately they've delivered more hits than misses, but especially in the beginning of this year, it was really rough. I really did not know if we were going to get a good Netflix movie this year, and I really did not know how Alex Strangelove was going to go. However, as it turns out, this is a very well done film. Alex Strangelove is a much different film than I expected it to be, but it's a very good story about acceptance and about finding who you really are, and I just really did enjoy it overall. It's definitely one of Netflix's best films of the year so far, but we're just getting into it now, starting off with the cast. And that's the thing with this movie. I went into this movie really not knowing a single actor, and when it comes to Netflix, that's not usually a good thing. Gratefully here, though, not the case. I think, honestly, everyone did a pretty good job. I don't really think there was a performance that I didn't really think was all that strong. Let's talk about our main character here. Daniel Doheny as Alex Truelove is so great in this movie. He just... the second the movie starts and he's narrating it, he just completely, I think, steals the show. He steals every scene that he's in. You really care for this character. Alex is a guy who is your typical high school senior. He's someone who, he has a lot of friends, and he is the class president and things like that, and, he's really kind of struggling. He cares about this girl, Claire, a lot. He really does care about her, but at the same time, he can't seem to get his mind off of Elliot, and I really did like where he ended up going with his character overall. I think he did a really great job. He shines very good in both comedic and dramatic moments, and I definitely do want to see more of him. He is a Canadian actor from what I understand, but he did a really great job in this movie, and like I said, after this I really do want to see more from him because he was quite great here. And then Madeline Weinstein as Claire, I really loved in this movie. Once again, haven't really seen her in much of anything, but I really liked her here. What I really like about Claire is that she isn't really overbearing about the fact that she wants to have sex with Alex. She just really wants it to happen. She is very adamant about it, and she thinks that he is just as adamant, and she doesn't really notice the fact that he is, going through this, and you can see that she really is hoping for the best, but she also is very accepting of him and supportive, and I really did like their relationship in the film, but she's also going through her own struggles. Her mother is battling cancer, so she's with her a lot, and she's kind of dealing with her own stuff, and what I like about this movie, they focus on Claire just as much as they do on Alex. We'll get to that more with the writing, but I think she did a really great job. The two of them do have very believable chemistry, especially in scenes where that they're not really acting like how a couple should. They still do work very well together, and I thought she did a really great job here. I was very impressed with her. And then the rest of the cast here does do a really good job. The main guy who played Elliot in this movie, Antonio Marziale, I thought he was definitely really good. He's not in the movie a lot, but he really does work very well as, like I said, this guy who he can sense that Alex is in fact gay, and that Alex does have feelings for him, and their relationship was very interesting because there are points in the movie where you think, okay, is Alex feeling, does he reciprocate those feelings that Elliot does have? Or is he trying to shrug it off? Is he just trying to, be nice to him? Is he just trying to do what he can because is he just doing it out of sheer politeness and things like that? And I really did like his character. I thought he was definitely really great. I also really liked Alex's parents in this movie, Joanna, Adler, and William Ragsdale. Not in the movie a lot, but I thought they both were really solid. I thought they both did a very good job in this film. I was definitely impressed by the both of them. So I definitely really did love them here. And then all of Alex's friends, I absolutely love. Some of the funniest shit I have seen all year. There is one scene in this movie that involves his friend Dell taking drugs, and it is among the funniest stuff I have seen all year. Daniel Zolghadri, this is someone who is very raunchy and he's very crude, but he's very supportive of Alex in his own way. He thinks that he's like this amazing kid in school, and I just really thought he was great in this movie. I really did love his character. He was a lot of fun to watch, and Alex and his friends, just watching them hang out was just some of the best stuff in this movie, and I think honestly everyone, like I said, did a really great job here. But now let's get to the directing and the writing, because the directing in this movie by Craig Johnson, I believe his name is, again, not a name that I'm familiar with. Most of this movie is complete unknowns, not people I'm familiar with, but what I thought he did a really good job with in this movie is that he doesn't take the movie too seriously. Yes, there are some very dramatic moments in the film, but he doesn't take it too seriously in the sense where he doesn't try to make this a soap opera. He tells a very honest portrayal of someone kind of discovering themselves, and I think he does a very good job with using comedy for this, because there are some very humorous moments in this film, and they definitely did make me laugh a lot. And I think because of that, the more nuanced moments stand out that much more. Like a small scene between Claire and her mother where she's trying to figure out, you know, why did Alex do this, or why did Alex say this to me, or why did he say something in this way, I thought was just really good the way he did direct it. I was definitely very impressed with the directing overall, but the writing is really what I loved. Like I said, this is a very honest portrayal of sexuality and things like that, and because of it being about someone, you know, thinking they might be gay, the comparisons to Love, Simon are going to be there, and I've heard it already, and I will say this right now, I really don't think that's warranted. Love, Simon and Alex Strangelove are two very different movies. Love, Simon is about a kid who realizes he's gay, but doesn't know how everyone is going to respond and how they're really going, you know, if they're going to be as perceptive as, you know, as he wants them to be. Are they really going to respond well? Alex Strangelove is a kid who thinks he's straight, who's coming to terms with the fact that he might not be. And I think that, in general, does very much divorce it from Love, Simon. So I really don't think that comparison is warranted. I think they're two very different movies, and I think the writing in this film is very well done. There are moments where, you know, you really think, okay, Alex might not be gay. Maybe he does have feelings for Claire, but then you're not sure if he does, and I definitely really did enjoy that. I thought the film told a really great story, and what I really love is that they don't just right away tell you, okay, he's gay. No, they take a lot of time to get into the relationship between Claire and between Alex. Like I said, Claire actually is dealing with a lot. Her mother's in the hospital. She has to care for her a lot, and she kind of relies on Alex as a way to escape from that. And because of us knowing this, it gets us to, you know, when Claire makes some maybe selfish decisions, you understand why she would do that. You understand, okay, this is why she's feeling this way. It's not necessarily because she is just being a bitch. It's because she relies on Alex for that emotional support. And when he isn't as into something, you know, she is much more emotional than she would be, and she's much more on edge in this film. And like I said, I love that they paid just as much attention to Alex as they do to Claire. I think that's one of the best things they do in this film. Claire could have easily just been a love interest, and she's anything but that. She really does feel like a fully well-realized character, and I really did love that. And again, you know, that's not anything that big, but we just don't really see that a lot in films of this nature when it comes to, you know, the love interest, and I really did enjoy that. Elliot as well is not just the guy that Alex is pining for. There's a little bit more to him. If anything, you know, Elliot serves as, you know, Alex getting in touch more with his more outrageous side and the side that he doesn't really want people to see. Elliot is someone who's very unapologetic with the fact that he is gay. He really doesn't have too many problems with it. He embraces it, and I really did enjoy their scenes together as well. It's a different atmosphere than him and Claire, obviously, but I really did get into it, and I think they did a really good job with that. And the way this film does address topics of sexuality, I thought was honestly really delicate. There's a really great scene where Alex is talking about how he doesn't understand why everyone has to be labeled and why everyone is so obsessed with the idea of sex. You know, he doesn't really understand all that, and it honestly was really insightful. I heard a lot of people say it shoved it down your throat, and I really didn't feel that way. I felt it was very delicate, and it worked with what Alex was going through, and I definitely really enjoyed, after all, how, you know, the film brings up a lot how we make these, we make accusations that because someone might not be into something, that automatically means they're gay, or that automatically means that they're not into that person, when that's not necessarily the case. And I just really enjoyed the way the film did that. Again, it's not anything particularly original, but I do think this film handles it in a very delicate manner, more than most films of this nature usually do, and I really did enjoy that overall. Like I said, the comedy I thought was also really great, and thought the social commentary was just really great there. I just really did love the main story in this film. I thought it was really engrossing, and there's also some really nice stuff with his friends. It's not like his friends are just raunchy. There is actually a good story for the character of Dill. There's this girl that he's kind of wanted to be with, and where they end up going with it was not really what I was expecting. You know, they make you think that they're going to do some things, and the film does actually deviate from some cliches that we have in high school films. It's not that they're not there, but the film actually does a little bit more than you'd expect them to, and that's something I actually really did enjoy overall. I thought the writing, like I said, was just really sharp. This is some of the most, I think, energetic and some of the most fun writing I have seen all year. I had so much fun with this film, and I really enjoyed the writing here, I have to say. The cinematography as well is great in this film, surprisingly. This film has a really nice style to it that I really was not expecting. There's a lot of really great stylistic choices. There's one scene towards the end, especially, with Alex in a pool, and it's mesmerizing the way the cinematography is done. I was very impressed by it. Like I said, that it also does enhance a lot of the humor. There's a lot of really great visual humor in this movie, and it does work. Hell, this movie made a vomit scene work, and that stuff never really works for me, but it actually did work in this movie because it's not just like, oh, someone's throwing up, that's funny. No, it's more a reactionary type thing, and I thought the cinematography was very good in that sense. The score, not really much to say. It's your typical stock music, nothing really to say there, but the editing, I did think the film was very well edited. It really did fly by for me. I was pretty much into it the whole time. There really wasn't a point in this movie where I really wasn't as into it, and that's something I definitely really did love. I really only have one flaw with this movie, and that is the ending. The way that the film does wrap up is not the way I was expecting it to go. You know, Alex does make this revelation, and the revelation that he makes, it just did not feel like the film was building up to it. However, this becomes less of a problem when we get to the ending of the movie, which the way they did solve this overall and the direction it ended up going, I thought was very strong, and for me did make up for the sort of lackluster revelation. Like, it's one of those things where on paper it doesn't really work, but the execution of it, I thought actually was very strong, and I was overall, I was overall really happy with the way the movie did end. That being said, though, the final scene in this movie felt a little bit preachy. It just felt a little pandering to me, and because of how subtle, and like I said, how not on the nose this film really was, this just felt a little bit in your face, and I feel like they could have, it's one of those things where they could have ended at this one scene, and they just didn't. They had another scene after that I really found kind of unnecessary, and really did not need to be there. I guess really my only other complaint with this movie is that, like I said, it's really not anything original. You've seen this story told a lot of times. It's really not anything that different. However, that's not really a huge complaint. It's just the film doesn't really do anything that different that you haven't seen other films of this kind do. It does, like I said, deviate from some cliches, but in terms of the story it's trying to tell, you have seen this before, and, you know, I can definitely think of quite a few films that, you know, this film did very much borrow from. But again, it didn't really bother me, but I'm not going to, you know, ignore the fact that the film isn't necessarily an original concept. Other than that, guys, Alex Strangelove is a really fun movie. I really did have a blast with this film overall. It has some of the funniest moments, I think, of the year. It has some really great performances, and it does tell a really honest story that for some, I think will probably be very cathartic and will be very relatable, and that's something I really did enjoy. The movie is less about, is Alex gay or not, and more about, is he in touch with himself? You know, can he be himself? You know, is he acting too over the top, and that's something I can actually relate to. You know, there was a point in my life where I really wasn't acting like myself, and I was trying to be something I wasn't, and Alex kind of goes through a similar arc in this movie, and I think that sense, it actually was very relatable, and I really did enjoy it. Once again, this movie very much to show me what Netflix is capable of. I really do hope they continue to make movies like this, and not things like a bunch of other films that they've made that I've really despised from them. But other than that, guys, I really did enjoy this movie overall, and I am going to give Alex Strangelove overall a B+. But either way, guys, for this video, hope you guys enjoy. We'll see you guys in